So the boys on the left, so they're typically the prettier ones when it comes to birds. And then the ladies have that white front or breast. Actually, on the nest right now, one of our moms is coming out. And we've noticed Mom and Dad have been taking turns going back and forth. So we might have young in there. Depending, we'll find out. But we are a little bit of the late bloomers on property this season because of the cold weather. Some challenges came along with that. But Purple martins, they're migratory birds that come from South America to nest and have their babies here. So sometimes we'll say that they're birds that come from Brazil, but also they're born here, so it's back and forth. When they're down in South America, it's just fun times. They have like carnival, they're eating, they're enjoying life, and then they make this incredible migration journey to come here and have their young. And so what's really funny about our program here is that Disney, many people work really hard to attract these birds and make them come to their houses in their backyard. They have to be next to the water, far enough away from trees that they feel like they're safe from predators. All this stuff. They'll play sounds and have little fake birds on top, and they still might not get birds. And then Disney, back in the early 2000s, put one of these birdhouses up, said, "This is what you could do in your backyard," and then got birds. So it is just funny how that journey has gone for us, and now we've had quite the massive colony come from it. And everything that we can learn from these guys can help protect them, but also others too. They're really, really resilient to our interactions with them. So we can pull the nest down, we monitor how long we have the nest down to ensure that we're not keeping it down too long. But they started relying on humans for their nesting cavities way back during indigenous cultures started putting on forts to dry, and they started to live in them. And they noticed that they ate bugs, and they're like, we gotta keep these guys around. And the journey started then. And so we put bands that have numbers on them, and then we also put certain types of tracking devices. So we can monitor their journey, we can extrapolate data when they come back, and they're not endangered, thank goodness, but they have had significant declines in recent years. So we're trying to get ahead of it, learn what we can, protect them along the way, and then educate while we're at it. So,
nice.
Yeah. Well, guys, the wind is kind of okay right now. Do we feel good? Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, I think we can
If we feel icky, we can put it back up. Yeah, totally.
A lot of activity in that tub.
That's
I know. I'm like, I just wanted to look at that one.
But yeah, come on down with us. You can even come
Okay.
on off the grass. We bring the nest down, we check each cavity, and then we see if there's eggs, if there's leaves even, because the leaves are going to be the start of the nest, and then eventually babies. And we keep track of the data so we have a timeline of when we might see things too. It makes it easy for us to identify when we'll see the babies and when they'll fly away. Okay. I know. That means I need to remember to take a photo. So interesting. The wind will like stop.
I have to like catch it in
Stop
between.
for a few minutes. I'm gonna get this thing out proactively. Yeah.
Well oiled.
This one is rougher than the other one, I think. Yeah.
Hi, friend.
Hey! We're gonna do a purple martin house check. We're gonna look for eggs and babies. Alright, so what we're doing in this windy journey, we're trying to be a little quicker to get you guys back up, but we are marking what's going on in the nests. And so we have a standard across Disney property that we look for 5 leaves in order to indicate nesting activity. So 2 leaves, 3 leaves, we used to sometimes count that, but over time we've decided more leaves will justify the end marking. And so then once we see leaves, we can anticipate that there's probably going to be more action in the nest. we look for eggs, and then we eventually look for young. These are really cool birds, and birds will nest differently depending on the species. Hey! We have excitement.
Yes.
Oh!
Oh.
Oh my
D
goodness.
is a nest.
Okay. Check it out.
They're so
Mind if I call my kids over?
Yes, please do.
Hey, kids, you want to see baby?
So I have 2 babies. I have 4 eggs.
So hatch day, because right, 'cause some of them aren't even hatched
Yeah.
yet.
Wow.
Oh,
Alright.
Wow.
They might be one day
One,
old.
yeah, they look more this. They're not like that yellowy kind of
Yeah.
This one has like,
A little feather.
yeah, I would say 1.
So slow, like,
We have 2 babies. We think they're roughly about a day old. And then we still have 4 eggs in here that we're hoping will hatch off soon.
Baby's alive.
Yep, they are. They just don't tend to move a lot when they're this size. They rely very much on their parents at that point.
so this doesn't the chosen parent.
No, you
See
you
one
know a
more
lot
side,
about
turn
birds,
one
so
more.
I feel I
Let me
may
show
be
one more
telling you
side.
something you already
Absolutely,
know. And sometimes if we're having some challenges figuring out how old they are, we'll use this sheet specifically.
Yeah.
We'll hold them right next to it so that we can identify the sizing. So this is a really cool tool that we have. So there is a myth about handling bird nests.
I think they're
That
roughly
if
about a
you
day
touch
old.
or are around it, that the
So a
adults
couple
won't come
ones
back.
that
It is a
hopefully
myth,
hatch
although a
also.
good myth. We don't want people to mess around nests as much as possible. But most birds don't have olfactory senses or a sense of smell, and so they won't identify that. But they're like vultures. There's some birds out there that do have a sense of smell for good reasons. I don't care. But yeah, we have 2 young. Those were the first young identified at this nest for the season, right? So far.
I think so. I think the only ones we had before were the other. Of course, that's really not my memory. So
That's okay. That's okay.
F is a nest.
Okay.
The rest are F.
yeah, M and R are.
Okay.
Well, there's obvious activity in
I
R,
know,
but
I'm like, I want to know.
I know.
not yet.
Let's see.
We were seeing a male and a female come out the top here.
Oh, yep. Bam. Lots of babies.
Oh wow.
Oh my. Oh my.
Oh, bigger babies.
Bigger
too.
babies are lots of them.
Oh, wow.
You can kind of see the difference in the sizes.
They grow
Oh.
so
yeah.
fast.
How many do we
Because
think?
we checked on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday?
Okay.
Monday or Wednesday?
No, Wednesday. Last Wednesday, and they weren't even born yet. Like, what day are we on?
Sometimes what I do, I think 5.
I know.
Oh, I see.
I think 6.
That would make sense.
I think 6. They are. They're a little bit bigger.
And sometimes
They
what
grow
I do, so these guys get hard, as you can see, like they're piles of babies going on. And what we try to do is sometimes we'll look for their beaks too. That could be like good easy. But yeah, 6 babies. 6 are looking. But we only had 6 eggs before. So what we'll do is we'll age them. So I would say 3 days old.
Yeah.
Ladies, what do you think? 3 days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite that.
A little
Not
too
quite
big.
before, but
Maybe 3.5.
Yes. Perfect.
Very cool.
That's awesome. And I was explaining to these 2 here, these animals, thank goodness, are not endangered, but they've had unfortunate decreases in population that we've noticed. And so anything we can do to learn more about them, track them, think about what we can do to protect them is going to help them and other birds along the way.
Nest for K. X for O.
Okay.
no. Who's asking about pesticides on property?
Oh.
Just spraying in the morning when I'm walking. That might
There's a lot of pressure washing that happens too in the morning, so that could be part of it. There's a lot of like Disney. I don't have a full extensive knowledge on our pest control problem, but we also have a lot of natural pest deterrents, which is pretty
They have bat houses. There's a bat house at Fort Wilderness with over 1 million
Yeah.
bats.
You can see that from the lake. If you ever take boats around those lakes, you can see some of the big bat houses over on like the farthest east side of those lake areas. It's huge bat houses. There's also over at Port Orleans, there's some bridges where they live underneath the bridges, and people will go specifically to watch the bats come around. Yeah. Port Orleans, I think it's Riverside.
Yeah.
X is down the way.
But no.
Thank you. Okay, and even the gourd had an X.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know what?
Lots of babies.
They had outdoor activity, but nothing. No nest yet.
Perfect. Okay.
cool.
So this is what allows us to ensure that there's like, if a snake were to try to get into here, this would prevent them from being able to crawl all the way up.
Yeah.
And inherently, these are predator guards the way that these are shaped. The birds will lay themselves down flat and go in, but things like European starlings and bigger birds hypothetically should not be able to get into this. We hypothetically, we need to have enough space for them to get in. We try our best, bottom line. There's some certain circle of life moments that happen always when it comes to animals, but we do what we can. Okay, I see a parent being like, I want to feed my baby.
They were busy when
Yeah.
we got here.